Welcome back to Let's Make a Game, the channel where we are making a computer role-playing game using the free program Twine and the Sugarcube format for Twine. I would like to, over the next couple of videos, talk about audio, using sound in your game. And in particular, in this video, I want to talk about a very simple use of sound, which is having a track in the background that just loops around. It can be music, or as in this case, it can just be sort of atmospheric sound effects. So the first thing that I did was I needed to find a track that I could use. So I went to Open Game Art. This is a website that I've spoken of in a previous video. It's a website where people upload graphics, most commonly, but also music and sound effects, which other people can download and use in their games. Now, I searched. There's a search bar in the top right-hand corner, as you can see. I think I searched for something like horror atmosphere or something like that. When you search like that, you can sort of tweak the search if you want to. So what I would have done is got rid of all these ticks so that we're just looking at music and sound effects, although the results seem to be that anyway, but just to make sure. And then you can play different tracks to get... I'm not sure I can hear anything coming from that one. Oh no, here we go. Okay, that's a bit underwhelming. Let's try another one. So you can and so on. You can sort of test them out, and then when you find one that you want, you can click on here and go to its page. I ended up here now, and then I downloaded it under this files heading. It's very important to look at the license, because these are all available for use, but there's different restrictions on them. Like some people only want you to use it in non-commercial contexts. Some people it's okay to use it, but you've got to allow other people to share it as well, and so on and so on. And so there are different licenses that people will specify when they upload stuff, and so it's very important to look at these licenses and to familiarise yourself with what they mean and what they require. In this particular case, all of these licenses are links, so you can click to text. If you're not familiar with Creative Commons, which is a sort of family of licenses that have different restrictions on them. This particular one is it says CC-BY-SA 4.0, and what that means is CC is Creative Commons, BY is attribution. In other words, you've got to credit the person. You've got to say the track was by, in this case, Clayton Kaufman. And SA is share alike. In other words, you can't prevent other people from using the file under the same conditions. So that's acceptable to me. What I was worried about was an NC. That stands for non-commercial. And I don't know that what I'm doing counts as commercial yet, but I would like it to be commercial perhaps in the future. So if something was NC, I personally wouldn't use it. So I checked out the license. I downloaded this. It's a zip file, or the things are usually in zip format. So you'll have to unzip it, which just means click on it and drag the files out. But anyway, that's how I got the file. Let me now show you. And then of course I put it in a special directory. I had a directory there which is sound. I could have called it audio, I suppose. I put the music. I renamed it Atmosphere just to be easier to use, and then I had a little credit and license thing there for later. When I do a proper credits page, I don't think the game really sort of deserves, I don't think there's enough of a game there to do that yet. But when I do, I will, be sure and put this person's name as the creator of the sound if I end up using it in the final version. So let's now look at the code. It's actually quite simple. What we should do is create a new page and call it something specific. There are specific titles for pages that Twine knows to treat in a special way, and I've already dealt with one before, the story caption page. If you have a page called story caption, exactly written like that, it knows that that means do whatever code is in this page in the sidebar. And so you don't have to have anything. If you look at the page, you can see that there's nothing going to it or from it. There's no page that goes to story caption, and there's no story caption doesn't go anywhere else. But you don't need anything to go to it or from it, because that title is a sort of special reserved one, and Twine knows to treat it in a particular way. And this is another such page called story init, story, or capital S, then lowercase t-o-r-y, capital I, lowercase n-i-t. I-n-i-t standing for initialization, I think. So what I did, and let's zoom in here, is first of all, and this is all within double greater than or lesser than signs, which lets you know that this is a command that is specific to Twine. It's not HTML or JavaScript or anything else that Twine can use. It's Twine's own set of commands. In fact, Sugarcube's own set of commands. So we have the lesser than, then we have cache audio, CACHEAUDIO, space, quotes, Atmos, ATMOS, quote, and then space, quote, sound / atmosphere.mp3, quote, and then greater than to close it off. So let's go through what that means. Cache audio means I want you to load a particular sound file and have it ready to be played. That's all cache audio means. Atmos, that's not a special word, that's just what I chose. And whatever's within these quotes is a sort of shorthand that tells Twine, okay, I want you to cache audio. I want you to, when I use the word Atmos in the context of audio commands, I'm talking about this file. And then finally, we have within quotes sound / atmosphere.mp3. And that's just the location of the file and the name of the file. If we go back to the directory here, from where the bridge is, we go into sound, and then within sound we'd have atmosphere.mp3. So obviously you'd change that to wherever you've put it. You might have audio / ambience / it might get more complicated, but for now I've just got sound / and then the name of the file. So in short, it's saying I want you to get some audio ready. You can find this audio at sound / atmosphere.mp3, and Atmos is the shorthand that I want to use to refer to that particular piece of audio. And then, so that just sort of gets it ready, gets it into the memory, I suppose, of the program. And then we have the command that actually plays it, which is less than to start it off, audio, space, quote, Atmos, quote, space, loop, LOOP, space play, PLAY, and then we finish off with a greater than. So what that means is this is going to be an audio command, because there's quite a few different audio commands to do different things, but this is going to be an audio command. I want you to do this to the track which I've told you the shorthand for is Atmos. So we know that it's this one. Of course, there's only one, but if you had multiple ones, it would let it know which one it was. And then I want you to play it, but on a loop. So if I just put play, this would, if I'd just done that, that would just play through the file once. And that would be relevant for perhaps if it was a sound effect that triggered for a specific incident. So to use a real cliche, you open a door and there's a creaky door sound. You don't want that looping, you just want that to play once when the player does that. But in this particular case, I want it to start playing and I want it to keep playing for the whole time that the game is being played. So once again, we've got the less than audio, Atmos in quotes, which is just the shorthand that I've already established in the cache audio command, and then loop space play. In other words, play it, and then when you come to the end, go back to the beginning and play it again. So that's the code. Sorry, I will say one more thing. This command, the cache audio, the documentation that I read recommended specifically putting it in the story init page, but these audio commands don't have to be in the story init page. They can be anywhere. I just put them here for convenience's sake. So you can have a passage that starts to play once the player gets to a particular point in the story. But that's not what I want to do in this video. I want to do the simplest possible thing, which is just a looping atmospheric track that starts when the game starts. So that's the code. Let's look at what that does when we run the game. So let's open this with, for example, Google. Shouldn't make any difference. Now, even though I've said what I want it to do is to play from the very start, it won't actually start until I click on something. And so it'll just keep. And so on. It doesn't seem to, it won't start until I click on that, until I either click a link, or even if I just click sort of somewhere on the side, it sort of makes I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it starts to treat it as sort of the active file that I'm using or something. And then it'll keep doing that until I restart it. So that's how you do that. In other videos, I will show you how you can have multiple tracks and have tracks that trigger at particular points in the game, and working with volume and so on and so on. But for now, I hope that was useful or interesting to at least some of you, and I hope you will tune in next time.